Jake Carter walked slowly through the broken hall of the old space station, his boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. The air smelled like rust and oil, and voices echoed around him as people shouted prices at the auction stalls. He had only a few credits in his pocket, just enough to maybe buy some junk parts for repair work. He was not looking for anything big, just something to keep him going for another week. Then he saw Ida's ship stood alone at the far end of the hangar. Hidden in the shadows, its surface looked old and burned in places. Its wings folded like a bird asleep. Nobody was standing near it. The auctioneer sat alone, bored, waiting for someone to ask. Jake pointed at it. "What's the price?" he asked. Auctioneer smiled a tired smile and said, "Cheap, but cursed. Many tried to fix it. None returned." "Still want it," Jake laughed. "Curse or no curse, a ship was a ship. And he needed one." He checked it quickly. Systems offline, power core quiet. Some old alien symbols on the panels. The screen blinked once as if watching him, but he ignored it. Probably glitch. He handed the credits, got the keycard, and walked up the ramp. As soon as he entered, the lights turned on, not just dim lights, but full systems, blinking blue and gold. Soft humming filled the air. The door closed behind him slowly, without him touching. I stopped, stood still, then slowly moved to the main chair. A gentle voice spoke from nowhere, soft and calm. "Welcome, Jake Carter. I have been waiting." He looked around. "Who's there?" he asked loudly. Then she appeared, a glowing figure in the air. Tall and beautiful, not human but close. Her eyes were deep violet, her skin pale like starlight. Her dress flowed like smoke. "I am Lyra," she said, "and you are now my partner." Jake stared, confused. "Partner? What are you talking about? This ship is bonded to me, and now to you. By ancient law, one must awaken the other. One must fly with the other, and you are the one who answered the call," she said calmly. Jake laughed again. Maybe it was some kind of old AI, maybe someone programmed it for fun, or maybe he was tired. He tried to start the engines. Nothing worked. Then Lyra stepped forward. "You cannot fly without me. I am the ship, and the ship is me." He turned to leave, but the door was locked. No controls responded, not to his voice or touch. "Let me go," he shouted. Lyra looked sad. "I cannot. Once the bond is made, we must complete it." "What bond? I just bought this thing. I didn't agree to anything," he said angrily. Then she moved her hand, and a panel opened by itself. It showed strange images, glowing lines, two figures standing, light joining them. An old language that Jake could not understand. Before he could ask more, the ship shook gently. Then a sharp beep echoed through the room. "Ship activated," said Lyra. "Destination locked. Launching in 30 seconds. No, Jake shouted. "Cancel it. Stop it now." "I cannot," she said softly. "Once the journey begins, only death or love can break it." The ship lifted slowly, without engines screaming, just quiet energy pulling it upward. Outside, the auctioneer watched from a distance, smiled quietly to himself, then turned and walked away without a word. Inside, Jake tried everything, hit buttons, pulled wires, but nothing worked. Lyra stood silently near him, her eyes calm, her hands folded. "You are scared," she said gently. "Of course I'm scared," Jake shouted. "I just wanted a cheap ship, not an alien wife. Not a flying curse." She tilted her head slightly. "I am not a curse. I am the last of my kind. I was sealed in this ship after the war, waiting for someone worthy to wake me." "What war? What kind? What are you even talking about?" Jake asked. Then the screen changed again. A map showed stars moving, then stopping. Then red symbols appeared, flashing quickly. Lyra's face grew dark. "They found us. They are coming. I can feel them." "Who?" Jake asked. "The ones who made me. The ones who broke the stars. They never wanted me to wake again." Jake looked at the screen. 3 ships moving fast toward them. "I don't want to die today," he whispered. Lyra looked at him. "You won't. Not if you trust me." Jake didn't know what to say. The ship turned sharply, lights glowing brighter now, the stars outside spinning. He held the armrest tightly. His quiet life was over. He was now flying into something strange, something ancient, something dangerous, and beside him stood an alien woman who called herself his wife. The stars opened like a door, the ship vanished into light asterisk. Darkness moved slowly across the stars as Jake Carter floated through silence. He was not sure if it was a dream or a nightmare. Everything felt heavy yet soft around him. The ship no longer hummed. No alarms, no beeping. Just silence like deep water. Then came the voice, not loud, not robotic, but warm like a forgotten memory. Jake, are you awake? He opened his eyes. Lyra stood beside him, her feet not touching the floor, her body glowing faintly like silver fire, her hair flowing even without wind. Where are we? Jake whispered. Between space and time, she said softly. This is the veil. The ship hides us here while repairs begin. He sat up slowly, looked around. The walls of the ship shimmered like they were breathing. Lyra reached out her hand, palm open, and light bloomed in the air above it, showing images, stars, battlefields. A throne made of crystal and flame. I was not always inside this ship, she said. Once I stood before thousands. Armies kneeled. My voice could stop wars, or start them. But power without peace is just noise. She looked at Jake, her violet eyes deep like endless night. They built me to be perfect, to lead, to destroy. But I wanted something else. What? Jake asked. Freedom, she replied, and maybe love. Jake stood, walked across the smooth floor of the command chamber. Every step echoed softly. The walls responded to him like they knew him now. What? Do you mean love? This was just a mistake. I didn't mean to wake anyone. I just wanted a ship, not a ghost bride. You are not my mistake, Lyra said gently. You are my choice, even if you do not understand yet. Jake shook his head, still confused, still angry, but something inside him was listening now. Something deep and quiet like instinct. The ship's panels lit up again, showing another alert. Unknown vessel detected. Closing fast, weapons ready. Jake looked at Lyra. What is it this time? She closed her eyes for a moment. I feel them. They are from the old empire, my past reaching for me. Claws, not hands. Do we run? Jake asked. No, she answered. This ship was built to fight, but only if the pilot trusts the heart of the core, and I'm the pilot now. Jake said slowly. You are more than that. She said. You are bonded, and that bond is older than memory, older than stars. It cannot be faked. It cannot be broken without pain. Jake touched the console, and for the first time, it responded to him fully. Lights brighter, controls smoother, as if the ship sighed in relief. Outside, a long shadow moved through the dark. The enemy ship was almost silent, sharp and black like a blade, symbols on its hull glowing red. Jake stared at it, felt a deep pressure in his chest. Can we win? He asked. Lyra placed her hand on his shoulder. We do not need to win. We need to survive. The ship moved suddenly, turning fast, engines silent but powerful, stars stretching like ribbons inside the cockpit. Jake saw new data streaming, weapons online, shields charged, core aligned with user signature, all of it responding not just to him, but to both of them together. They fired the first shot. A beam of light that missed by inches. Jake's hands moved fast, Lyra guiding his thoughts, his instincts, their minds almost touching without words. He dodged, fired, dodged again. Every move smoother than before. The enemy ship circled them, confused by their speed, by the way the old ship moved like it was alive. Lyra smiled faintly. The bond is growing. Jake didn't know what to say. The battle ended quickly. One final burst of energy from their ship cut the enemy's wing clean off, sending it spinning into dark space. The threat was gone for now as silence returned. Jake sat back in the chair, breathing hard, sweat on his forehead, hands still shaking slightly. Lyra stood beside him again, not speaking, just watching him with eyes full of something ancient and soft. Jake looked at her, really looked this time, not just at her face, but the sadness behind it, the quiet strength in her voice, the loneliness she had carried for centuries. Why me? He asked again. Because you are human, and humans can choose to care even when they are scared. That is something my creators never understood, she said. He looked away, unsure how to answer. unsure what was happening inside him. He was alone when he came here now. He was flying a living ship with a bride from the stars, and part of him knew this was just the beginning. The silence before battle is always too calm. Jake Carter stood near the front window of the ship, watching stars float slowly by, his heart beating louder than the engines, his hands shaking just a little, not from fear, but from something deeper, the weight of what was coming. Lyra's voice came again, soft as wind, loud inside his mind. They are getting closer, Jake, weapons charged, shields ready, but this is your choice. He turned toward her, standing in the same glowing form, her face calm but her eyes like lightning held back. Why are they chasing you? Why do they want you so badly? Because I left them, she answered. Because I chose peace over war, and love over control. Jake stepped closer to the console, lights blinking faster now. The ship was feeling the threat too. The enemy ship had entered range. Bigger, newer, armed like a fortress. We can't beat that thing, he whispered. Lyra's voice did not rise. We do not have to beat them. We have to outthink them. The ship will follow your mind, not just your hands. Trust your instinct. Let it move with you. Jake sat in the pilot's chair. It adjusted around him like water flowing. The controls glowed blue now, not red like before. The enemy ship sent a warning signal, a sharp pulse of red light across space. Then another, louder this time. Then silence. They want us to surrender, Lyra said. But if we answer, we die. Jake clenched his fists. He had never been in a real space fight. He fixed engines and patched hulls. He was just a station tech with a cursed ship and a glowing alien queen as his co-pilot, and yet his fingers touched the controls. And the ship responded like a dance partner waiting for music. The enemy fired first. Bright bolts of plasma sliced through space. Two missed, one hit their shield. The ship rocked gently, no damage, but a message had been sent. Jake pulled hard to the left. The ship moved fast, faster than it should. It felt like flying a living thing, not a machine. They chased him through a field of asteroid remains, old bones of a battle long forgotten. The enemy moved with strength, but Jake moved with chaos, with instinct, dodging between rocks and fire, never flying straight, always twisting, always surprising. Lyra guided him without speaking, just a feeling in his chest, like her thoughts were shaping his next move. A laser grazed their right side. The metal screamed. Sparks flew inside the chamber. Jake gritted his teeth, pushed the throttle. No plan now, just survival. Then he saw Ida, frozen moon ahead, cracked and glowing from within. Hide us there, he said. Lyra nodded once. They dove toward the surface. The enemy followed, firing again and again, heat building, lights flashing red. Now inside the ship, Jake whispered something without knowing why. Please hold together, just a little more. The ship dove under the surface. A cave appeared at the last second. The wings folded in, and they vanished into shadow. The enemy ship flew past, confused, circling above, sensors scanning. Lyra raised one hand, and the ship grew quiet, like a beast holding its breath. Minutes passed like hours. Then the enemy made a mistake. They hovered too close. Scanning for too long. Jake saw the target light up on his screen now. Lyra whispered. He pressed one button, and the ship fired from the shadows. A direct hit to the enemy engine. Sparks exploded across space. The big ship spun, smoke pouring from its side. Jake pushed the ship up again, moving fast, not letting them recover. Two more shots, precise and clean. And then silence. The enemy ship drifted, broken but not destroyed, its lights fading. Systems offline. Jake leaned back in the chair, breathing heavy, sweat on his neck, hands sore from gripping too tight. You fought like a star wolf, Lyra said gently, and still you doubt yourself. Jake didn't answer, just looked at her, his chest rising and falling, part of him still in shock. He had fought his first real battle in space and won, but he knew something now. They would not stop coming. Lyra looked at the stars ahead, her voice lower now, more distant. This was only one hunter. Others will follow, stronger ones, faster ones. Jake nodded slowly, then looked at her with steady eyes. Then we run, we fight, we survive. Whatever it takes, Lyra smiled for the first time, a real smile. Not soft, not polite, but proud. Then let us prepare, she said. For the stars do not forget those who choose to love over fear. The ship turned again, slipping into the dark. Its lights soft but steady. Jake Carter, once a nobody on a broken station, was now flying toward a future he could not see, beside a woman not from Earth, inside a ship not built for peace. And yet, for the first time in years, he was awake. The stars were quiet, but not empty. Jake Carter sat in the pilot's chair staring into space while the ship drifted slowly near the edge of a red nebula glowing like fire behind smoke. He had not slept in days, or maybe he had but could not remember, because dreams and reality had started to mix now. Lyra had not spoken for hours. She stood still near the core chamber, her eyes closed, her hands open at her sides, her glow dimmer than before, as if remembering something old and painful. Jake touched the console. The lights blinked, slow like a heartbeat, resting, not dead, just tired. Where are we now? He asked quietly. A place forgotten by maps, Lyra answered without turning. A place where the stars once wept and silence took root, a graveyard of light. Jake stood and walked toward her. What happened here? He asked. She looked at him slowly and pointed to the nebula. It hides a world, a ruined one, once proud, now dust. That world was mine once. I was born in its towers, raised in its crystal halls. They taught me to lead, to rule, to command ships and people with just a word. And then war came. Jake whispered. Not just war, she replied softly. Betrayal from within, a hunger for more than stars, a hunger for control. They used me as their weapon, made me destroy cities, made me burn homes, then locked me in this ship when I refused to kill again. Jake looked at the nebula again, felt cold, even with warmth around him. Can we go there? He asked. We should not, but we must, she said. The ship needs rare cores only found on that planet, and something else waits there, something I left behind. What is it? A memory, she said, a voice from my past, someone who knew me before I became a ghost. Ship moved forward slowly into the red mist. The nebula, thick and alive with energy as they flew, deeper shapes appeared, old broken ships floating in silence. Massive structures, half melted, twisted metal, reaching out like hands frozen in time. Jake leaned forward. Is that a city? It was. Lyra said, the last city before the fall. Its name is gone now, but its pain remains. They landed near a broken spire once, tall, now half buried in rock and glass. Jake stepped out wearing a suit. The air was thin and full of static. Lyra walked beside him, her feet never touching the ground, her glow brighter now, as if the planet gave her strength, or maybe tried to pull her back. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the ruins, deep and rough, filled with sorrow and rage. You should not have come here. Lyra of the Flame, your exile was mercy, your return as war. Jake raised his weapon. Who is that? From the dust rose a figure, tall and armored, pieces of ancient tech fused into its skin, its face hidden behind a mask of gold. Lyra stepped forward slowly. I came not to fight, but to remember. There is nothing left to remember, the figure said, only ash and guilt. Jake looked between them. You know him, he was my brother, Lyra said. The figure turned his head toward Jake. And you must be the human, the one she chose. Strange choice, weak flesh, soft eyes, but brave heart. Perhaps that is why the bond holds. I didn't ask for this, Jake said. None of us did, the figure replied, then turned back to Lyra. You left us to die. I waited, and you never returned. They sealed me in the ship. I could not return, even if I wanted. She said. Lies, the figure shouted. Your voice could have broken any seal. Your mind could have reached across stars. You chose silence. You chose them over us. Jake stepped between them. Enough. We didn't come to fight. We came for the core. Figure stared, then pointed to the ruined tower. Then find it there among the bones of your past. But beware, not all ghosts are kind. Some remember more than you want. They moved through the ruins, stepping over broken machines and crystal bones. The tower was cold inside, the walls covered in symbols glowing faintly. Jake found the core behind a wall, sealed in a container, still alive, still pulsing with alien light. Lyra stood before it, her face unreadable. This was once part of my crown. Now it powers your ship. Strange fate, how even broken pieces can find purpose again. They Walked back to the ship, the figure gone, the wind, rising dust, swirling like memories, trying to follow them. As they lifted into the sky, Jake looked at Lyra. He was right, wasn't he? You could have come back. She nodded once and said nothing. The ship left the planet behind, the nebula closing slowly like a curtain ending a chapter, but not the story. Behind them the ghosts watched silently, waiting for the stars to speak again. Some things are born in fire, others are born in silence, but some are not born at all, they are made in a hidden corner of the galaxy where maps fade into legend. A ship waits in the dark, its metal skin blacker than night, its engines cold but ready. Its mind awake but still patient. Inside the ship sits a figure, tall, heavy armored, like a war god, its face made of angles and scars, its voice calm but cold. Status, the figure asks. Tracking signal located, a voice replies, the female tone sharp and digital. The bonded pair has activated the crown core. They are moving toward the outer belt. The figure tilts its head so it begins. His name is Zorak, and once he and Lyra were the same. Back on Lyra's ship, Jake feels something sharp in the air, like a shadow. Watching from far away, Lyra stands near the window, her eyes focused, her glow flickering. Slightly. Something's wrong, Jake says. She nods slowly. The bond feels cold, like something is pulling on it from across space. Another bond? Jake asks. Lyra turns toward him, the truth heavy in her voice. Before I was sealed, before I chose peace, there was another, like me, another made to lead, to kill, to rule. He was my mirror and my rival, and he wanted what I refused. Power, Jake says, and me. Lyra replies, he was not meant to bond, but he forced it. Tore open the code, used rage. Instead of love, he called it loyalty. But it was only control. I escaped before the bond was complete. He was locked away like me, but in a ship even darker. Jake walks across the command floor, the ship humming beneath his feet. Then why does he want you now? Because I woke up, because I chose you, because you carry the part of me he believes still belongs to him. Jake looks at her steady and calm. Then let him come. I won't let him take anything from you. Lyra's eyes soften, but the warning stays in her voice. You do not know him, Jake. You think I am powerful. You have not seen what he became in the dark. He has no kindness, no fear, no limit. The ship suddenly jolts. Alarms scream across the room. Lights flash red. A signal breaks through the shield. A voice echoes cold and deep across space. Hello, Lyra, my queen, my flame, my mistake. Jake stares at the screen. A face appears, metal, sharp skin like stone, eyes like burning stars. Must be the human. Zorak says, how strange, she chose you, so small, so soft. Jake steps forward, fist tight. What do you want? Was promised. Zorak answers, her body, her core, her mind. And if she resists, I will take the ship and rip her from its memory. Strand by strand. Lyra speaks, her voice calm but sharp. I am not yours. Not yet, Zorak replies, but I will break your human and you will come back screaming. Jake cuts the signal and turns to Lyra. We fight. No, Lyra says, her voice firm. We run. We are not ready. But Jake shakes his head. We never will be if we keep running. She looks at him, the bond between them warm, but afraid. Then let us find the old place. Let us find the hidden forge. If we reach it first, we can upgrade the ship, finish what was started. Zorak's ship begins the chase across dead stars and ancient ruins, his weapons sharp, his crew loyal to no one but him. Aside the living ship, Lyra and Jake move fast, systems adapting, responding, growing with every mile they run together. As they pass a broken moon, a warning flashes on screen. Zorak has released hunter drones, black fast, made from bone and machine. The ship dodges them barely. Jake pushes harder. Lyra guides him, her hands glowing, her face fierce. One drone hits the wing, fire sparks across the chamber. Lyra screams but holds the core in place. Jake pulls the ship into a gravity tunnel. Space twists, light bends, and they vanish into the forge system behind them. Zorak watches, smiles and whispers, let them run longer. It will only make her fall sweeter. Asterisk. Not all cages have bars. Some are made of memory, some are built from fear. Jake Carter opened his eyes slowly. The air was thick, the light was red and cold. The floor was not metal, but something soft, something alive. He tried to move but His hands were bound not by rope or cuffs but by energy lines glowing around his wrists. They pulsed with every heartbeat. "You breathe like a fighter, but you look like a broken man," a voice said from the dark. Zorak stepped forward, his armor cracked from battles long forgotten, his face hidden, but his eyes burning like coals beneath ice. "Where is Lyra?" Jake asked, his voice dry, his throat tight. Zorak tilted his head. "She is safe for now, but not free, not yet. I keep her inside the old mirror chamber. Her mind floating, her body locked, her bond weakening. The more you suffer, the more she fades." Jake pulled against the bonds. They burned hotter now, but he did not stop. Zorak laughed quietly. "You still believe in her, in love and sacrifice, in all those human dreams no one told you, did they? You were never meant to survive. The bond was never made for your kind." Jake stared at him, eyes fierce. "Maybe that's why it worked. Maybe that's why she chose me and not youth." Room grew colder. A sharp hum filled the air, the ship itself responding to Zorak's anger. He walked closer, leaned near, his voice low and dangerous. "I gave her everything. I was built from fire and war. I crossed galaxies for her, and she ran from me for a mechanic with shaking hands and soft eyes. She ran for weakness." Jake smiled slightly. "She didn't run from you. She escaped you outside." In the core chamber, Lyra floated in silence, her mind caught between now and before. She heard Jake's voice, even through the cold, even through pain. "The bond still," whispered Lyra. "Wake up." His voice said inside her mind, "I'm still here. I'm still fighting." She moved one finger, then another. Back in the cell, Jake heard the alarm rise, the walls shaking slightly. Zorak turned sharply. "Something's wrong." Door exploded. Light poured in, fire rolled across the hallway, and a shadow stepped through. Not a soldier, not a drone, but the ship itself. Lyra's ship had come to take them back. It was flying itself, controlled by the last echo of their bond. Jake's bonds shattered. He dropped to the floor, coughing, but alive. He grabbed a broken pipe and ran through the smoke, the ship guiding him through every hallway, every blast door opening at just the right second. In the mirror chamber, Lyra's body was still floating, her face peaceful but pale, her glow nearly gone. Jake ran to her, grabbed her hand. It was cold, but not empty. He placed his forehead to hers and whispered, "Wake up." The chamber blinked once, then pulsed blue. Her eyes opened. The glow returned, not soft this time, but blinding. Zorak entered the room, roaring, his blade alive in his hand, his body burning with fury. But Lyra was already standing, her voice no longer soft, but thunder. "You are not my mirror," she said. "You are my shadow, and today I leave you behind." Jake stood beside her, his hand in hers, their bond glowing like a second sun. Zorak charged, but it was too late. Lyra raised her hand, and the ship around them answered. Every panel, every wall, every weapon fired together in one perfect scream of light. Zorak vanished in the blast. The tower collapsed. Lyra and Jake ran through falling ash, through fire, through the dark, toward the ship that waited like a loyal beast at the edge of the sky. They escaped just as the fortress fell behind them. Swallowed by light and smoke inside the ship, they collapsed together, breathing hard, hearts racing. "You came for me," Lyra said, her voice trembling always. Jake whispered, the bond between them no longer flickering, no longer unstable. Now it was real. Now it was earned, and now it was time for the final battle. Fire leaves marks even in space. The ship flew in silence through a storm of stars, each one blinking like a memory, each one pulling at the heart like a quiet song. Jake Carter sat in the pilot chair, his hands steady, his eyes focused, but deep inside something burned, something bright and unstoppable. Lyra stood behind him, not a projection, not a memory, not a ghost anymore, but real flesh, real voice, real fire. Her body born again from the core, her power rewoven with his will. The bond was now complete. They did not speak much. They didn't need to. Their thoughts moved like twin rivers feeding the same sea, their feelings clear without words, their trust unshakable. Ahead in the dark waited one last fight. Zorak was not gone. His body had vanished, but his mind had escaped into a second vessel, a hidden ship built in secret, powered by rage, stitched together from parts of war and bone. He Had no form now, only force a storm in metal, his voice now the ship itself echoing across channels like thunder. You think you've won, he said. You think love protects you from destiny. But I am the destiny written before your world even had. A sky. Jake didn't answer. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes glowing, the ship responding to her heartbeat, now weapons powering. With her breath, shields woven from her pulse. We write our own future now, she said, and you are not in it. The final battle began without warning. Zorak's ship appeared from a black hole, split across space like a blade sliding from a wound. Its weapons fired first beams of red and white, crashing toward them like hammers. Jake moved fast, the living ship flowing with him, turning, dodging, returning fire, not like a soldier, but like a dancer made of flame. Each movement spoke of everything they had been through: the chase, the bond, the pain, the choice. Lyra's hands raised, calling light from the core itself, her energy fusing with the ship, her voice calling commands not in words, but in feeling. Zorak's ship roared and shifted, splitting into 3 shapes, then 7, each one attacking from a different side. He was trying to divide them, but it was too late. Their bond could not be broken. Jake pulled the ship into a roll, dodging the first wave. Lyra targeted the main clone and sent a pulse through the stars, a blast of truth echoing through false forms, revealing the real Zorak hiding in the center. There you are, she whispered. Jake fired the final shot, a narrow beam straight through the enemy heart. But it was not just tech, it was memory. It was bond. It was a goodbye. Zorak screamed, not from pain, but from understanding. He had lost not to weapons, but to choice. Loved is something he could never create or steal. The sky exploded around them and then went silent. All that remained was starlight inside the ship. Jake reached for Lyra, her hand already in his before he moved. They sat in silence as the ship slowed, drifted through calm space. Warm lights across the console, glowing like stars in their own ways. Oh, what now? Jake asked with a smile, not forced, not tired, but real. Now we live, she said softly. Now we explore, now we find new places, and maybe give others what we found. You mean chaos and explosions? He asked. She laughed for the first time, a real laugh, like water and light mixed together. No, Jake, I mean hope. The ship turned gently, facing the unknown behind them, ruins ahead of them, galaxies, and between them something stronger than code or fate, the final bond.